Hi everyone, I'm John from Office Ready. Now, if you use Excel and you're copying formulas from one cell to another, there's something called cell referencing that you need to understand. So in this video, we're going to have a look at the difference between relative cell referencing and absolute cell referencing. Sounds complicated. It's not. It's really easy. So if you saw my Excel basics tutorial, you'll have seen in that video that we created a formula and then we just copied it down to the adjacent cells to save us typing the formula in again and again and again. Now when you do that, by default Excel uses something called relative cell referencing, where it simply changes the coordinates of the formula to match the rows and columns as you copy it down. However, sometimes you don't want it to do that. You want to use something called absolute cell referencing, and that's what we're going to have a look at in this video. So here we have a very simple table. I've got a column with some departments in, a dollar value, and then a blank column here for the sterling equivalent. And what I'm going to do is just create a formula that simply calculates the pound sterling equivalent of that dollar amount. So if I click into that cell and type equals D3 times, and then the exchange rate today is 0.7714, I should say. And there we go, 31.96. So that is now the pound sterling equivalent of that dollar amount. And then I'm just going to drag that formula and copy it down to the end of my data set. And there we go. I've now got my formula copied down. Now when I dragged that formula down and copied it, it used something called relative cell referencing. Now, if the exchange rate changes, what I've got to do is come into my formula and change the exchange rate and then copy that formula all the way down again, and there we go. That's not ideal. What I actually want to do is be able to enter an exchange rate into a cell, say up here maybe, and then the formula look at that cell, so I don't have to change the exchange rate actually in the formulas. I just need to change it here once. So let's do that. I'm going to enter the exchange rate here, 0.7714. Oh, 115, that'll do. And let's type exchange rate. So the formula should be equals D3 times H1. There we go, 31.96, perfect. So all I need to do is just copy that down, right? So I'm going to copy that down. Oh, hang on a minute, why is that? So I said earlier on that when we copied that formula down, it used something called relative cell referencing, and that's the problem in this scenario. So if I press F2 when I'm on this cell here, you'll see it gives me, it actually highlights the cells that it's using in the formula, so D3 times H1. But if I come down to the next cell and do the same, press F2, you can see that it's actually moved down to H2 and the last part of the formula, and again H3, H4, H5, and that's the problem. What we actually want it to do is lock this part of the formula to always look at that one cell. So when I copy it down, it only looks at that cell and doesn't change the coordinates of the columns and rows. And that's called absolute cell referencing, and it's really easy to do. So if I click back into my formula, and when I'm on this part of the formula here, if I press F4, you'll notice that Excel puts these dollars in front of the column and row numbers. If I press return, that has now converted that part of the formula to what's known as an absolute cell reference. And then when I copy that formula down, there we go, that now works. So if I come down to this cell, you can see that it's looking at the right part of the first part of the formula, and then in the second part of the formula is locked to that one cell. And now all I need to do when the exchange rate changes is change the exchange rate once here in this cell, and the formula works. So that's the difference between absolute and relative cell referencing. I hope it made sense. If you like that video, why don't check out some of the other videos on my channel, and if you like those as well, please subscribe. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.